everyone, thank you for choosing Biophilia as your study mate. Hope it helps you with your study time. If you appreciate the efforts put into each and every video, do like, share and subscribe and hit the bell icon for more such videos that are going to help you in your studies. So as a good habit, Biophilia ensures to have a brief look at the previous topics for perfections in the next. So let's have a revision for the previous video. So for perfection कि जो आपने पहले पढ़ा था, to make that more perfect, we are going to brief out about erythrocytes that we had covered in the previous part of the chapter. So if you want to know more about them in detail or you want to revise those topics, तो I'll link down in the description box the link. आप उस पर click करके you can go and view that videos and you can have your revision time done. So here we are going to just list down few lines about erythrocytes. तो उनको हम RBCs भी बोलते हैं and they are biconcave and non-nucleate cells which are about 75% of the blood volume. उनकी जो count होती है it is going to be 5 to 5.5 million, which is a huge number giving red color to the blood. Then you have the lifespan of RBCs as 120 days, and formation of RBCs you might know that it is called as erythropoiesis. Then the antigen of the blood group, which is going to decide the blood group, is going to be present on the surface of RBC, और RBCs के अंदर in the cytoplasm there is hemoglobin. So hemoglobin होता है 12 to 16 grams in 100 ml of blood. So this was just the little brief points about the previous video. Go to the previous part and revise those in detail. But for now we will move on with the next topic for this video. So now we are going to discuss more in detail that is called as leukocytes. तो leukocytes होते हैं coming from the formed elements of the blood, और leukocytes को you also know them as WBC, that is white blood cells. तो white blood cells के बारे में जानने के लिए are you all ready? So yes, leukocytes are going to be colorless, और colorless क्यों बोलते हैं? Because since you named them as white blood cells तो उनमें pigment नहीं होता है. So since they do not have pigment, they are called as colorless. उनका shape जो होगा that is going to be round or it can be irregular shaped, and these leukocytes are going to be nucleated. So जैसे RBCs में हमने देखा था कि nucleus absent था, but in this case the nucleus is going to be present. और entire leukocyte जो होता है it has a ability for amoeboid motility, so it can move in the blood as amoeba moves. अब अगर WBCs के साइज की बात हो रही है तो साइज ऑफ WBCs is going to be larger than the red blood cells, but उनका number will be lower in the blood. So blood में number कितना होता है WBCs का? It is going to be 6000 to 8000 per mm³ of blood. So अगर if you have attended your previous video of this chapter, so you might know that RBCs का count कितना होता है? That is 5 to 5.5 million. So RBCs बहुत ज़्यादा होते हैं that are giving red color, but in case the WBCs are going to be lower in number, but still they are very important for your body. अब RBCs जो थे they are going to provide the red color, but WBCs क्या करते हैं? WBCs are going to move through the capillary walls with the process that is called as diapedesis. Now once the WBCs or the leukocytes start moving in the amoeboid fashion, तो वो सारे cells के tissues में वगैरह जाके they are going to act as your defense mechanism of your body. So जहाँ पे भी there is infection, there is any sort of disease या कोई cell damage हो रहा है, तो all that system defense mechanism is going to be because of leukocytes. So leukocytes के बारे में are going to discuss more with relation to the number or the count of WBCs. So number or the count is going to be called as total leukocyte count or as TLC. तो अगर TLC increase हो जाता है, so what is the condition called? It is called as leukocytosis. तो leukocytosis में there is going to be increased number of WBCs, यानी वहाँ पे डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म शुड बी स्ट्रॉन्ग. सो डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म स्ट्रॉन्ग कब करते हैं? सो एज योर कंट्री इज गोइंग टू प्रोवाइड मोर सोल्जर्स एट द बॉर्डर्स फॉर मोर सिक्योरिटी, जब दुश्मन का अटैक होगा. सो सिमिलरली व्हेनेवर देयर इज बैक्टीरियल और वायरल इन्फेक्शन, the defense mechanism is going to be more powerful by increase in the number of WBCs. फिर total leukocyte count कम होगा in different situations, but increase जब होता है तब if there is normal bacterial or viral infection, that is going to go away in 2 or 3 days, so that is temporary increase. But you have continuous increase of WBCs, so that condition is abnormal. और abnormal increase जब होता है, that is if the count come across 1 lakh, होना कितना चाहिए था? It should be 6,000 to 8,000, पर उसकी जगह पे अगर 1 लाख तक इंक्रीज हो जाता है, so that is called the condition as leukemia. और leukemia is nothing but a type of blood cancer wherein the bone marrow cells are producing more and more of WBCs. So that is not a good sign. So abnormal increase जब भी होगा, it is a type of blood cancer called as leukemia. So you can see in the photograph over here कि अगर normal blood है, तो normal blood में there would be comparatively lesser number of WBCs, but leukemia की condition में the entire blood is going to have more number of WBCs, so that is not a good sign for body. अगर ल्यूकोसाइट काउंट कम हो जाता है, अगर कम हो जाता है तो क्या होगा? There is a disease called as or a condition called as leukocytopenia. और leukocytopenia कब होता है? When there are diseases like typhoid, malaria और AIDS. तो वैसी कंडीशन में your WBC count is going to decrease. So you might have heard about typhoid and malaria. तो उसमें the leukocyte count is going to decrease. Now let's understand the classification of leukocytes. So leukocytes go on the basis of whether they have granules or they don't have granules. तो उस basis पे you are going to classify the leukocytes. तो फर्स्ट अगर granules present है, so these granules are nothing but proteins that are freely floating in the cytoplasm. So अगर granules दिखते हैं, so they are granulocytes. If you cannot see the granule, then it is a granulocytes, simple as they say. So granulocytes जो होते हैं, so let's discuss more about them. So granulocytes are going to be roughly spherical. Okay, and in comparison we'll study a granulocytes, those are going to be spherical or rounded. Granulocytes जो होते हैं उनका diameter छोटा होता है, so they are smaller in size, whereas a granulocytes will be larger in sizes. Now since the name as granulocytes, they are going to have the granules which are going to be persistent, whereas in a granulocytes, as the name a granulo, that is the cytoplasm will be clear और उनमें कोई भी granules नहीं होंगे. Then granulocytes are going to have nucleus which is going to be irregularly divided. और ये divide होता है into 2 to 5 lobes. So these lobes is going to be connected by protoplasmic strands. So there are going to be string-like structures which are going to hold the lobes of nucleus into different shapes. बट वैसी कंडीशन अग्रैन्युलोसाइट्स में नहीं होती है. द न्यूक्लियस इज गोइंग टू बी वन सिंगल लार्ज न्यूक्लियस, उसमें वैसे कोई लोब्स स्ट्रक्चर जैसा नहीं होता है. Now since granulocytes are going to have different lobes or there are going to be many lobes, तो उस कंडीशन में granulocytes का और एक नाम होता है, that is polymorphonucleated leukocytes. But since granulocytes have only one nucleus, they are called as mononucleated leukocytes. अब granulocytes में कौन कौन से टाइप के ल्यूकोसाइट्स आते हैं? They are eosinophils that are also called as acidophils. Then they have basophils and neutrophils. So you can see in the photograph down, eosinophils maybe you can see small granules, Basophils, maybe you can see granules. Neutrophil also has granules in them, right? But अगर monocyte या lymphocyte है तो their cytoplasm is going to be clear. So that is the division of granulocytes and the agranulocytes. So I hope this was clear about the classification. Now we are going to study in detail about each of the type of granulocyte and agranulocyte. तो यहाँ पे एक टेबल फॉर्म है wherein you are going to understand in comparison for all, वो बेसोफिल्स हो या they are eosinophils, neutrophils, monocytes और lymphocytes. You are going to compare them at a single place so that it is easier for you to remember. सो बेसोफिल्स जो होते हैं उनका जो कंट्रीब्यूशन होता है इट इज गोइंग टू बी 0.5 to 1% ऑफ द टोटल ल्यूकोसाइट काउंट. तो टोटल जितने भी WBCs होंगे आउट ऑफ दैट बेसोफिल्स इज गोइंग टू बी अबाउट 1%. In the case of eosinophils, it is about 2 to 3%. Neutrophils सबसे ज़्यादा होंगे, that is 60 to 65%. Then the monocytes and lymphocytes on the second number, that is 20 to 30%. तो यहाँ पर सबसे ज़्यादा in the case of count is the neutrophils, then is your lymphocytes, और सबसे कम कौन होगा, your basophil. So basophils are the least. फिर अगर न्यूक्लियस के लोब्स वगैरह की बात हो, सो बेसोफिल्स इज गोइंग टू बी अ 3-lobed सेल, और ये 3-lobed जो होते हैं इट इज गोइंग टू अरेंज इटसेल्फ विद द साइटोप्लाज्मिक स्ट्रैंड्स एज एन एस शेप. तो एस शेप में अरेंज होंगे बेसोफिल्स. देन इसिनोफिल्स न्यूक्लियस जो होगा इट इज 2-lobed स्ट्रक्चर फॉर्मिंग अ सी शेप. न्यूट्रोफिल्स में बहुत सारे लोब्स होते हैं, सो देयर इज नो स्पेसिफिक शेप दैट इज गोइंग टू बी सीन, बट मोनोसाइट इज गोइंग टू बी अग्रैन्युलोसाइट. तो अग्रैन्युलोसाइट है और लिम्फोसाइट भी अग्रैन्युलोसाइट है. So they are going to have a single big nucleus. So monocytes में kidney shaped nucleus होता है, but when you are speaking about the nucleus, तो nucleus is going to be a bit more smaller, but वहाँ पे cytoplasm ज़्यादा होगा. But in lymphocytes, the nucleus is very large कि वो सेल में cytoplasm बहुत कम बच जाता है. Right, so you can see in the little diagrams that I have drawn for you to understand how this thing works out. So these are not the real diagrams that you see under microscope, but this can help you to remember the structures of these lymphocytes. Now अगर functions की बात हो, so basophils are going to be responsible for inflammatory processes, यानी wherever there is anything that is swollen, so that swollen is going to be because of basophils. अब basophils ऐसे cells है जो release करते हैं histamine, heparin and serotonin, and because of this release there is going to be inflammatory process happening at their site. अब eosinophils जो होते हैं they are going to protect you against allergies and parasitic infections. Allergies जो धूल से पोलन से आती है, in all that cases whatever reaction happens in your body is going to be because of eosinophils. Then comes neutrophils. Neutrophils सबसे ज़्यादा होते हैं in your total leukocyte count. So what are they going to do? They are going to be phagocytic in nature. Phagocytic means they are going to engulf the incoming or the foreign bodies. जैसे कोई bacteria आ जाए into your body. So whenever they sight out any foreign object, they are going to engulf. That is, they are phagocytic in nature. But bad thing, they are non-motile. वो खुद से move नहीं कर सकते हैं. Whenever the blood flows nearby through that foreign body, they are going to engulf that particular foreign thing. So since neutrophils are going to be smaller in size and they are protecting your body against the foreign entities, they are going to be called as micro policeman of your blood. So whenever there is any sort of bacterial infection onto your face, so you see there are many pimples that are occurring. So that pimples have pus into them. So जो pus formation होता है, that is going to be because of the dead neutrophils. So whenever there is going to be any infection regarding wherever there is phagocytosis occurring, तो वहाँ पे जब डेथ हो जाती है of these neutrophils and the bacteria and the cells surrounding that place, they are going to form the pus. फिर आते हैं monocytes. So these monocytes are again going to be phagocytic in nature, but this time they will be motile. So these monocytes are going to roam on their own inside the cells and the tissues and the blood to find out if there is anything happening wrong regarding the foreign bodies. तो जैसे न्यूट्रोफिल्स दे डाई इन फाइटिंग विद द फॉरेन एंटिटीज, मोनोसाइट्स आर नॉट गोइंग टू डाई. इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट दे विल ट्रांसफॉर्म देमसेल्व्स इनटू मैक्रोफेजेस. सो दे आर लाइक सुपर वॉरियर्स. तो वो मरते नहीं है, दे आर गोइंग टू कन्वर्ट देमसेल्फ इनटू macrophages. रोने जिंदगी जिएंगे as macrophages wherever they are going to change their faces and roam again as macrophages. So again they are going to engulf the bacteria. वो फटाफट phagocytosis करेंगे, and because of all that nature of monocyte, it is called as a scavenger of blood, क्योंकि वो dead and unwanted things it is cleaning out. So it is a scavenger of blood or a macro policeman. अब lymphocytes है. Lymphocytes are going to be non-motile and non-phagocytic. They are not going to engulf anything, but instead they are going to produce antibodies. So these antibodies are going to help to provide signals for the phagocytic cells like न्यूट्रोफिल्स और मोनोसाइट्स. तो वो सिग्नल देंगे कि सी हियर इज एंटीबॉडीज एंड द एंटीजन रिएक्शन हैपनिंग. सो दीज सेल्स न्यूट्रोफिल्स एंड मोनोसाइट आर गोइंग टू कम फॉर एनगल्फिंग द foreign entity. So that is the work for lymphocytes. अब lymphocytes में भी there are various types of lymphocytes. So two types of lymphocytes are present in your body. So lymphocytes में होते हैं B lymphocytes and the T lymphocytes. अब B lymphocytes जो होते हैं they are in the function of transport and the production of antibodies. जबकि T lymphocytes जो होते हैं they have different types in them as killer T lymphocytes or helper T and the suppressor T cells. So killer T is going to directly kill the microbes. जैसे ही microbe दिख जाए फटाफट उसको मार डालेंगे. Helper T is going to help for stimulation of lymphocytes. So वो B lymphocyte को indicate करेंगे to produce more and more antibodies, whereas the suppressor cell is going to suppress the killer cells कि वो फटाफट जाके कोई भी microbe को जाके मार ना दे, so that it can protect the immunity. So to understand this entire scenario, I can help you with one short story. तो वो story को whenever remember, so you are going to entirely remember the functions of all those lymphocytes. So are you ready to hear a story that is going to help you remember all these things? So let's start the story. So imagine करो you are in some neighborhood जहाँ पे सुबह सुबह फाइट हो गई है. सो योर नेबर कम्स ऑन टू योर बंगलो के सामने एंड देयर इज अ फाइट स्टार्टिंग आउट एंड ही इज ब्लेमिंग यू योर फैमिली फॉर सम मिसहैप. तो वहाँ पे क्या होगा, योर फादर हैज द हेड, ही इज गोइंग टू कम आउट ऑफ द डोर एंड ही इज गोइंग टू सी व्हाट हैज हैपेंड. तो उसमें पापा को गुस्सा आ गया, तो नेबर को कॉलर पकड़ के ही हैज स्टार्टेड टू fight. So fight होते होते what is going to happen in very serious conditions, there can be hands and legs used for fighting. It is not advisable, but for your understanding, for your memory, you can imagine this thing happening. तो वहाँ पे क्या हो गया, लड़ाई झगड़ा शुरू हो गया. So your father is going to play the role of killer T cells. So your father or your dad is going to play the role of killer T cells, जहाँ पे सीधा झगड़ा शुरू कर दिया without understanding what had happened. So that is directly killing or attacking onto the microbes. फिर helper T cell. Helper T cell क्या करते हैं? Helper T cell is going to come when there is your mom. So mom is going to see the situation and what is going to happen when it is going to go out of control. पापा से लड़ाई झगड़ा बाहर शुरू हो गया है into your compound. Your dad is going to be the killer cell, right? So helper cell is going to do what? Your mom is going to take all other cells, that is say your siblings, आपके भाई बहनों को, this she is going to put onto the upper floor कि वो ऐसी कोई लड़ाई झगड़ा ना देखे. So then your mom is going to call her brother, यानी आपके मामा को फ़ोन किया, मामा को फ़ोन किया कि यहाँ पे लड़ाई झगड़ा हो गया है and we need some help to come out of this. So your mama is going to be the B lymphocytes. So B lymphocytes क्या है? जो मामा है, that is the mom's brother, he is going to be a don. Okay, don है. अब don है तो he is not going to come for the fight to be resolved. वो क्या करेगा? He is going to send his assistants. So that assistant is going to be the antibodies. So मामा कौन है? मामा है the B lymphocytes, who is going to be called on the phone with the help of a telephone. मम्मी कॉल करेगी. So मम्मी ने कॉल किसको किया? मामा को कॉल किया. So the helper cells have signaled the B lymphocytes to send some help, and that help is in the help of assistants with the help of antibodies. अब डॉन मामा ने भेज दिए एंटीबॉडीज को ऑनटू द साइट. अब एंटीबॉडीज आर गोइंग टू help the killer cell and the helper cell to fight against the microbes. So is the story clear till now? So now what is the role of the suppressor cells? Suppressor cells का काम है, that is your granny. So granny का काम क्या है? As she is the elder of the house, what is she going to do? She is going to pull off the father into the house कि झगड़ा मत करो, let's sort it out by speaking. So what is going to happen? The killer cell is going to be suppressed so that to protect the immunity. क्योंकि क्या होगा लड़ाई झगड़े में the loss is going to be for your body as well, because it is going to invest a lot of energy and cells into this fight with the microbes. So to protect your immunity, that you don't destroy your own house, लड़ाई झगड़ा में पता चला बर्तन फेंके and start killing all that stuff. So to protect your body as well, the suppressor cells, or in this story the grandma, is going to help you to protect the immunity and the dignity of the house. So यहाँ पे तो सब हो गया for this story, but story में एक और कैरेक्टर था. कौन सा? The young child or the sibling that was put onto the upper floor so that he doesn't see anything. अब young child जो ऊपर रखा था, as young child are very curious to know what is happening around in the house. So ये young child जो है, he is going to watch everything, each and every scene of the house as from the window. तो विंडो से झांक झांक के ये यंग चाइल्ड ने सब कुछ देख लिया कि what all things had happened. He had he had witnessed everything, whatever the fight was going on. तो ये young child जो है, in your body, this young child who is seeing everything and recording this memory into your brain is going to be the memory cells. So ये जो memory cells होते हैं, they are going to help your body to provide antibodies in huge quantities कि अगली बार ये जो neighbor है, that is your microbe, whenever this microbes enters your body again, तो ये young child यानी memory cells are going to come and directly call to your mama, that is B lymphocytes, to produce antibodies. So I hope with this little story of the household fights and everything, you are going to understand each and every function of the lymphocytes. So you can read again and again about these, and you can form your own stories जिससे आपको relate कर सको, and you are going to remember the things in that flow. So this was a little example कि आप कैसे चीज़ों को याद कर सकते हो. There are many other examples, you can find it on your own, or you can make one and do let me know if you have one which are going to help many more people also. So if you have such examples to remember anything, do let me know in the comments section to help other people as well. So this was from my side to help you for learning these lymphocytes. So let's have a fun way of learning things. So second example हो सकता है, you can make such little comic diagrams wherein you can, if you have time, you want to, make fun with learning. So you can use such comic ideas wherein you have learned about granulocytes. So these granulocytes like eosinophil is going to kill, engulf the bacteria. फिर यहाँ पे basophils के बारे में है where he is releasing histamine and other inflammatory processes. फिर यहाँ पे neutrophils है, he is going to engulf the bacteria. So like this in comic fashion, in fun way you can remember the things. And if you have such interesting ways wherein you can find learning in a fun way, you can post those videos or photos onto the comments section. And if you like such videos, do like, share and subscribe to Biophilia, क्योंकि Biophilia के साथ study time होगा easy. Now let's come back to the life cycle of WBCs. So WBCs में life cycle start होगी from the formation. So formation is called as leucopoiesis. जैसे हमने hemopoiesis पढ़ा, erythropoiesis पढ़ा. Similarly, there is going to be leucopoiesis, formation of WBCs. So granulocytes or monocytes जो होते हैं, they are going to be formed in bone marrow, whereas the lymphocytes producing antibodies are going to be formed in spleen, thymus, Peyer's patches and tonsils along with liver. So these are the organs or places wherein the lymphocytes are going to be formed. फिर maturation phase आता है for WBCs wherein the T lymphocytes are going to be matured in the thymus और B lymphocytes होते हैं mature in the bone marrow. So for remember you can see T is going to pair with T और B lymphocytes का B is going to pair with bone marrow. So you can make short tricks like these so that you can recall for these short memory points. फिर maturation के बाद क्या होगा, they are going to go onto the battleground, that is into the blood. So in that case the lifespan is going to matter. So granulocytes when they are in blood, they are going to be living for about 4 to 8 hours. और when they are going for phagocytic nature, जबकि वो tissues में जाके bacteria को engulf करते हैं, at that time they can live there for about 4 to 5 days. अब lymphocytes जो होते हैं, जो antibodies produce करते हैं, उनकी life होती है about 10 to 12 hours. So they can regenerate again by the leucopoiesis, but one lymphocyte is going to live for about 10 to 12 hours. फिर monocytes जो होते हैं, they are going to be called as the macropolismen. So these macropolismen of your body are going to live for days, months or years. So depends if the immunity is strong, that the cell doesn't die off, या फिर any other foreign objects have not entered into your body. So in that cases the lifespan of monocytes can vary. अब lifespan के बाद since the cells are not immortal, they are going to die or get destructed some or the other day. So the last phase is going to come as destruction. So destruction जो है, it is going to occur in the connective tissues. So this completes the entire life cycle of WBCs. और उसी के साथ हमने एक और formed elements के बारे में पढ़ना complete कर लिया है, that is leukocytes. So in this video we have covered everything that is related to leukocytes. उसके पहले वाले वीडियो में हमने erythrocytes cover किया and we also covered plasma. So we have covered 3 topics. Remaining topics आगे के वीडियोस में कवर होंगे. So if you liked this video, do like, share and subscribe. And you have to wait for new videos. तब तक के लिए आपको करना है what? You have to revise all these things. So as a drill, till the next video comes, आपको like, share, subscribe करना है. Hit the bell icon so that you do not miss out on the future videos. और तब तक के लिए you have to stay smiling, keep studying, be motivated till the next video comes. Thank you.